How's it going, guys? We're back in the world of the first Descendant, and the 1.03 patch just dropped, and boy did it come with quite a bit of changes considering the small sizes. Some things that I actually talked about in previous videos, so we got a lot to cover in this one. Just keep in mind, if you're enjoying the first Descendant content, consider leaving me a like as well as possibly subscribing to the channel. I'm going to be keeping you guys up to date on all things first Descendant, and that helps me out quite a bit. With that out of the way, let's dive into the update. So starting things off with a little bit of an idea of what to expect in the update. The first Descendant hotfix 1.03, full details with director's comments below. Key updates: turn off other players' effects, that's obviously for Glay. Easier ally down but not out, status check, AFK options in the player reports, improve voice shard missions, this is a big complaint in the community and a justified one, and then optimization and bug fixes. A lot of great things. Again, it's a very small patch but a lot of really cool things. Let's dive right on into the breakdown. So first things first, an option has been added to turn off other players' effects, projectile explosions, in order to improve visibility. The explosion effect and the duration of the vestigial organ has been reduced. This is the rocket launcher that a lot of the Glaze love to use, and of course, you know, it's pretty annoying to have to deal with. And this is the director's comments in regards to it, because I do know some players are maybe a little bit concerned that they may nerf the Glay or nerf the rocket thing. I don't think they will, but here are the director's comments. As Glaze Infinite Launcher became pretty popular, we took temporary measures to address an issue where the explosion effect was disrupting gameplay severely. Currently, we only provide the option to disable other players' projectile explosion effects, but we are planning to enhance its feature for other effects as well. So for those of you who have been plagued by Glay and her rocket spam, rest assured you can kind of like disable it to some degree. Some people were crashing from it from my parties. It was pretty annoying to see. It's hard to see like weak points and stuff like that when they're just absolutely dusting it with rockets. So this is a great change. We also got some other changes. A system message has been added to make it easier to check the down but not out status of allies. It's actually pretty noticeable, so this is actually a really good change. And an extra measure has been added to the party members UI, so you'll see it. It looks a little bit different. And one of the other big things which we talked about in a previous video about the AFK players, away from keyboard, AFK has been added to the player report menu. Now this is the response from the director, and it's actually a pretty meaty response about the AFK players. We have been keeping a close eye on the recent trend regarding AFK, and we agree that AFK hinders the gameplay for other players. However, we believe that a cautious approach is required in this matter, which is absolutely true. This is because AFK judgment mechanisms can sometimes be bypassed with simple shooting or moving actions, and the AFK kick system can be exploited for other purposes. First, we are trying to learn the patterns of AFK players with AFK reports. Through this, we plan to collect the information necessary to separate AFK players and matchmaking and prepare an appropriate measure in the future. We are considering ways to resolve the AFK issue so that everyone can enjoy the game together. We ask you to respect other players in the meantime, and if you have an idea on this matter, please let us know. Now, obviously, as a creator who is very in tune with the first Descendant, I do actually run into this issue quite a bit. It is a bit annoying, and as the director said, there is some things that need to be considered, especially when it comes to like impact of certain Descendants, because sometimes as someone who doesn't play Bunny, which you sometimes like to do farming missions, it's really hard to like justify jumping around and doing nothing when she absolutely cleared the entire screen from her running. Going AFK actually kind of makes sense because you'll just press the button, she'll just run around and kill everything, and it's way more efficient that way. Ultimately, the AFK issues need to be resolved, and there needs to be some changes. Hopefully they can get on top of it. I don't have any ideas as of now, but if you do have any ideas, leave it down in the comments. Maybe we can like give some input to the dev team. Some other changes added to this update: the UI has been updated so that major rewards attained from chain quests that have already been cleared are checked in the quest list. Also, a function has been added to view acquisition information directly in the target location of library, which is actually really nice. This is actually a complaint I have when it comes to like the UI in the library. It's a great system, but it definitely needed this tweak. Fixed an issue of scrolling to the top when moving from target item in the library to corresponding item list. Added firearm types and round types to the library weapon list, that's really nice. Fixed an issue where a player who joined the Void Fusion Reactor could use the reconstruction device even if there were no void shards after completing the mission. When completing a Void Fragment mission, obtaining 2 types of Void Shards, the amount attained has increased by approximately 1.5 times. This has been one of the bigger complaints on the forums and just in players, and you know, I typically don't agree with a lot of the complaints on Reddit, but this is actually one of the complaints I actually agree with. The Void Shard farming is very dull, very boring, and if they just kind of like had the enemies like just run out instead of having like this super long kind of time wasting mechanic on how they actually come out, this actually wouldn't be too bad. But But yeah, this change is better. I would like to see the enemies roll out faster, even in defenses. I would like to see defenses have the enemies come out a little bit faster because it does waste a lot of time. But yeah, this is a step in the right direction. As long as we continue to provide feedback as a community, you know, things like this get changed. Void Fusion Reactor mission tooltips have been updated to display the number of void shards, added link amorphous material to Void Fusion Reactor mission tooltips, and void shard attributes will now be displayed on the map directly, which actually I saw that today. It looks really nice and it's easy to tell, so it's really nice. Here is the comments in regards to some of the changes when it comes to like the void things, because some players were once again exploiting the game. We discovered and fixed an issue where a party member abort mission system was being exploited to repeatedly play the Void Reactor mission without consuming any shards. While addressing this glitch, we also considered why players might resort to using this. We realized that the transition from shard farming to actual Void Fusion Reactor missions was quite inconvenient and tedious. Yes, I agree with that. Therefore, we not only fixed the bug, but also increased the amount of void shards obtained and improved the farming process to make it more convenient. Please wait a little longer, as we are significantly improving the void fragment farming route in the upcoming week 5 update schedule for August the 1st. The dev team will continue to learn and grow from your playing experiences. We will also be listening to your valuable feedback and strive to provide a better gaming environment. So yeah, it looks like the dev team is actually taking feedback. This is one of the things I actually like about how Nexon has been handling the first Descendant. Say what you want about Nexon, but this game, they have seemed to like kind of take feedback, and this is one of those things where they're actually learning from the players. So continue to provide feedback. That's the most important thing, and we can get changes like this happening. While I don't agree with the outpost thing that a lot of players are saying, I do think that if you want to provide feedback, I think it's healthy, even if I don't agree with it. Anyway, moving on, the number of attached items that can be registered has been updated to 1,000 for each weapon, reactor, and external component. About time. This was actually I know a lot of you may not do this, but whenever you go into your like menu, you can press U and you can favorite things. But I was actually trying to favorite things, and there's like a limitation on it. I think there's like for each individual item or item type, there's like a limitation of like 10 or something. They increased it to 1,000. That's pretty insane. Now for my bunny players as well as my Eugen players, there have been some minor changes, or some pretty massive changes I would argue, for these two characters, and let's quickly go over it. Throw bomb and lightning emissions with the ultimate bunny high voltage module will now target nearby enemies rather than random targets. The allergy of reconstruction serum of Eugen now applies to Colossus as well. This is a really big change actually, because I was very mind boggled by how this doesn't work. For those of you who don't know how Eugen works, because no one plays him, Eugen has an ability where he throw like this dust at enemies or something, and whenever that dust gets onto an enemy, when you shoot it, it'll actually heal your allies, and when you kill it, it'll heal you and your allies. Before, this wouldn't actually work on Colossus, which kind of didn't make any sense, because to be quite frank, there's no reason to use this skill for like trash mobs. They don't really overwhelm if you have a proper team, and the only time I feel like this was actually useful was on Colossus. I will say though, I do think that this needs a bit of a range increase, but this is a good start for a Descendant that is very underplayed. He's not underplayed because he's bad, he's underplayed because players just don't have a use for him and don't really get him. Ultimate Bunny Electric Charge, High Voltage, and Bunny Electric Condensed sound effects have been changed, and then use Bunny skills to inflict electrocution on enemies have been removed from the second and third stage evolution condition of the Bunny evolving Skin Speedy Awaken 1. Not sure what that means, I don't have Bunny. Don't play her. For infiltration operations, you can now view mission results through the escape menu after completing an infiltration operation. The time limit for destroying an Iron Heart has been removed in the infiltration operation Fortress Heart of the Fortress. The location of the supply drone in the infiltration operation Fortress quarantine zone has been moved to the battle zone, making it easier to supply bullets, which is nice. Under missions, the position of immunity spears of the named monster will not change anymore as the monsters move or rotate. That is very nice. I think that mechanic is dog water as a whole. I don't like it at all. I like the ones where you actually kill the enemies. I do not like the ones where you got to shoot these like random balls in the sky, because it leaves a lot of Descendants vulnerable and it's just like super bad. Under the field, the drop quantity on hard difficult has been increased to approximately 1.5, so that's a massive increase. Under miscellaneous, the stack limit for consumable items has been increased from 1 million to 100 million, and updated some icon images, which is cool. Definitely need that stack. Here's some director comments. The first Descendant has been developed with deep effect affection and respect for various looter shooters. We take feedback regarding other similar games very seriously. Throughout this topics, we are trying to reflect the unique identity of the first Descendant, and we will continue to improve the game for the fans of the genre. There were a lot of UI fixes, mainly in the form of just like visual text and stuff like that with different languages. They're all on screen now. I'm not going to break all those down. You can pause the video if you like. For more Descendant fixes, which was in different area for some reason. Fix an issue where Descendants couldn't be changed after completing the exclusive dungeon to Bunny, our beloved daughter, in the Bunny questline, and fix an issue where lightning emission was used even when there's no moving distance or rolling over a box or wall. Some quick notes for all my people who love using macros. We love how Bunny runs fast, unleashing electric energy to take down her enemies. Bunny is a Descendant who gains her power in proportion to her distance she travels. However, rolling around in a corner and using her skills was not what we expected from her, so we decided to fix this. Additionally, we are detecting the use of various macros and unauthorized programs through our monitoring system, including the rolling in place macro. We are currently taking actions against macros and unauthorized programs, and we will continue to strive to create a more enjoyable game environment for everyone. Now, Bunny is already an OP Descendant. I don't see a reason why anyone would ever use a macro, right guys? But yeah, looks like some people are using macros and they're starting to get banned for it. So, you know, if you're using a macro while playing that OP Descendant, maybe consider stop it before you get banned. Now to the missions, there have been some changes that may or may not be impactful for some people who like to farm, but fix an issue where monster would not spawn if the first monster spawned upon entering the Volga strategic outpost was immediately killed. Fix an issue where the next quest could not be started under certain circumstances. Fix an issue where the spear would tremble when it was too far away from the name monster spear gimmick. Fix an issue that prevented field changes by removing the shield created during the upper hatchery mission in the White Knight Glutch hatchery. And then fix an issue where monsters would spawn even without an actual battle in the White Knight Glutch. This is one of the more popular buggy farms in the game, but here's some comments for the director. The Fortress Outskirts has become a popular farming area with many monsters pouring in the beginning of the launch. We love the run and kill play and believe running, shooting, and bursting are the fundamental aspects of a looter shooter. I agree. However, using the terrain to exploit and gather monsters without any action was not what we intended. If everyone simply stood still and hunted, the game enjoyment would quickly diminish, therefore we decided to make changes. We maintained the spawn rate by keeping the 4 Volgas resource storages active simultaneously, but monsters will not increase when players are idle. Run, shoot, and create some explosions. Many more monsters will continue to appear. Now there were a few other things. This will be linked down in the description if you want to read them, but I don't want to go over every single little tiny update. It's not necessarily that important. But one quick note I did want to go over for all my Glade players. The director additional comments for this. Thanks to the love and the interest that you have shown us, we feel the beaming energy of the community. Hotfix 1.0.3 includes many fixes which we hope will improve your gaming experience. Recently we saw a video in the community where the Colossus was defeated more quickly through mod switching. If we had a bit more time, we would have liked to include a fix for this in the 1.03 update, but unfortunately it didn't make it into this update. The dev team does not want module switching to become another strategy. This method makes combat tedious and does not fit well in the run and gun gameplay style. The dev team wants skills, modules, weapons, and external components to be the part of the strategy. We hope that in-depth build research will progress, but strategies requiring inconvenient controls are not what the development team aimed for. Last but not least, we are planning to skip the next patch week for the upcoming 5th week update on August the 1st, so there will be an update. Please look forward to the new Descendant Luna and Ultimate Valby. New intercept battles, new ultimate weapon modules, new modules, and external components and skins on August the 1st. I'm actually interested in the components the most, honestly. And yeah, that is the update. Hopefully this update video wasn't too long, but this is everything that came with it. It looks like a really nice hotfix and a lot of great changes. Hopefully they can fix Glay a little bit. As you can see, a good portion of this update is fixing Glay and fixing Bunny, 2 of the most overtuned Descendants in my opinion. But ultimately a great update. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what you think about everything. Don't forget, this will be linked down in the description. And yeah, just like that, see you in the next one very soon.